Somebody is Stella, I mean. Yeah, somebody, I'm seeing one name, Stella. If Stella is still far a bit, let's hear from Sebastian. Sebastian, kindly introduce yourself.
Hello.
Yes, Stella.
Yes, good evening. My name is Stella. I work with the Lutheran World Federation in Adjumani.
You're welcome. Sebastian, kindly introduce yourself.
Okay, good evening, members. I'm by the name Sebastian Owor from Tororo County North, Mukuju Sub-County. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Next is Emeje. Emeje, kindly introduce yourself to the audience. Yes. Bwana moderator, are you available?
Yes, Joseph, I'm available.
Yes, the mic is yours. You can take us through the program.
Thank you very much. By names, I'm called Oyuk David. I come from Mukuju Kuruku Zone. That is in Mukuju Parish, Mukuju Sub-County, and soon to be confirmed Mukuju District. Currently in Tororo County North. I'm so glad to welcome all of you to this edition of InFocus. I know it's been a while. Most people have been so busy in the field participating in the NRM elections, and we had to give them time to canvass the constituency looking for votes. So we are glad the voting went on without much incidences, and we are glad to be back to discuss this socio-economic topic. We are going to have an opening prayer, then we shall do brief introduction of the topic, and we shall give our guests opportunities to introduce themselves to the audience. Then we shall introduce our topic of the day officially and give our guests opportunity to discuss with us on this very important topic. Then we shall also give opportunity to the audience to ask questions or give their own independent opinion, to which our guests will respond to, and then we shall conclude with a prayer. Before that, we shall have the program director who will be giving us updates of other upcoming programs, and we shall have any other business. Then we shall conclude. Thank you very much. And gender-based violence refers to the harmful acts directed at individuals based on their gender. This may result in physical, sexual, psychological, or economic harm. That definition is from the UN Women as of 2020. Now, brief history of this vice. The ancient civilization tolerated gender-based violence. It was unacceptable behavior until the 19th century, when the women's suffrage movement began challenging gender-based violence norms. In 1970s, the feminist movement globally raised awareness about the gender-based violence, and in 1993, UN Declaration on Elimination of Violence Against Women was adopted. In 2015, the UN Sustainable Development Goals also included gender-based violence prevention targets. And today we shall majorly be looking at the root causes and how to address gender-based violence. Then secondly, we shall also be looking at the roles of men and boys in prevention, then and how to engage the men and the boys in the prevention of gender-based violence. So to discuss this topic, we are joined by two esteemed guests. That is none other than the founder and the executive director, Ajeri Human Rights and Rehabilitation Center in Tororo. And also, we are joined by the safeguarding coordinator, Hope for Justice Karamoja Area Program. Without wasting time, let me give them opportunity to tell us, to introduce themselves formally, and probably tell us about their organization briefly. I expect to take about 5 minutes in this introduction. The whole show is supposed to be 2 hours. We expect to end by 10:30. So, as the norm says, ladies and gentlemen, I will give the lady opportunity to first introduce herself. You are most welcome, Madam Juliet.
Thank you very much, our moderator tonight. Juliet Ayo is my name, founder and executive director, as introduced, at Ajeri Human Rights Rehabilitation Center. We are based in Tororo. Our offices are around court. We are between the RDC's block and court. And this organization has existed. This is the 9th year that it's on taking. Our major focus is on protection and promotion of human rights, basically with the vulnerable communities that include women, girls, the special interest groups, as you know. But in most cases, when we talk of human rights, people tend to think it's only women. No. The men's rights are respected and have to be promoted just as the women are. And I think if you happen to visit our organization, that is when you will know that we do not have men and women. We have human beings whose rights are to be protected and promoted. As we continue, we shall get to know each other better. Thank you very much. I'm also blessed that you have brought a fellow speaker from Karamoja. I am really blessed because I had 1 week's visit in Karamoja region, and I know we are going to enjoy the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Francis, are you getting us? I've been Mr. Richard, sorry.
Am I loud and clear?
Yes, we can get you. Please, introduction.
Thank you, moderator. And all the members that have joined this very fruitful discussion, and also my colleague, guest colleague, and a fellow practitioner. I don't really have much to say, but just introduction. I'm Richard. I work for Hope for Justice as a child safeguarding officer for a project or a program that is now 2 years old in Karamoja. Hope for Justice is an anti-trafficking agency, and just a brief history about us. Hope for Justice started in Uganda in 1994. It actually started as a charity, a small charity that was simply playing football with the street children. And by then, it was known as Tigers Club. So over time, as we played football with children on the street, it was kind of a program of keeping them busy. Because as you know, that the street children tend to be idle most of the time during daytime, and they become more active in the night. So by then they would gather street children during time, play football with them, and attend to a few of their psychosocial needs, and that would mark the end of everything. But over time, we kept on evolving and are bringing on board better programs to better serve street children. And so we moved from Tigers and we rebranded to Retrack. We became Retrack Uganda, and besides football as a rehabilitative tool, we incorporated some other activities to better serve street children. And there came on board tracing for their families or issues that have made them separate with their families, and sustainably ensuring that they return back and enjoy their right. Because actually, a family is an entitlement to everybody. So these children, we looked at them are not deserving to live on the streets, but to be back. And no child was conceived, or no child is produced on the street. Somewhere in the picture, there is a home. So we pushed for, or we agitated for their rights in ensuring that they go back and enjoy their full rights of being in families, and enjoy their values, their norms, and also the culture that makes them become who they will be or what they need to become tomorrow. Then we did not stop at that. Over the years, we kept on receiving street children. But there was a new component of a street child. And this happened to be children that are accompanied on the street. Because within our programs, we realized there are factors that are actually push factors and also pull factors. But we discovered a new trend of children that were coming to our care in our rehabilitative facilities as a result of being accompanied. And we had to do a street children census in Uganda, first of its kind. That is in 2018. And we discovered that the findings were taken back or we shared with a global sister organizations or charities in the UK. And within that sharing, we discovered that there was a component, this component that was being accompanied are actually children that are trafficked. So there was a proposal with the sister agency, by then known as Hope for Justice, that was well positioned and a little bit bigger than us, that we come on board and merge and better serve the children. So in 2020, actually the process of merger started in 2018. Then by 2020, we had fully merged to become Hope for Justice.
Thank
so
you.
We've moved, we've evolved, and probably in future we'll still evolve, but it's basically to expand on our program and better serve the vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. And you're most welcome, Mr. Emeje Andrew. I've seen your message. I've said you are in a noisy place, but thank you for joining. Now direct to the topic. Madam Juliet, could you please elaborate on gender-based violence? Probably you give us a definition.
Thank you very much, our moderator. In the start, you gave us a definition, but I want to bring it out one-on-one. Gender is an aspect of female and male. And then gender-based violence, best is an attitude, is a word that brings out an attitude. Gender-based, what does this person base on? And then violence is in a different aspects. It can be economical. Economical is the deprivation of having something that is yours, that is valued, that can be a resource that can fetch you an income. And then physical violence is an act of an injury on a body of either male or female. And then we have the psychological. Psychological is attributed to actions therein that may not speak, but cause you trauma or pain in the mind, in the brain. Then we have sexual violence. Sexual is attached to partners who violate, for example, it can be the married, or it can be those that are not married, whose sexuality is affected in the course of trying to cause them pain due to their gender. That is gender-based violence. So you can affect a person in one way or the other, either economically, psychologically, physically, or sexually. But in relation to our communities that do not know the depth of the different violences, they only tend to think that physical is what is a violence because you injure. And yet there are those other ones also that are violent in action. So gender-based violence is an act done on one to compel him or her to act towards what the other person wants. In most cases, we say compelling because it's not consensual. the person does not really consent to it, that you can go ahead and violate my right in that direction. So it is in relation to our gender. And also the perception in most cases, people tend to think that it is only the female gender whose rights are violated. They think less of the male gender that also go through the same violations in the hands of the female. So briefly, that is what I can localize gender-based violence for any person to be able to understand it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Juliet, for that definition. Maybe Mr. Richard, are you adding anything to the definition?
Yes, I'm totally in agreement with her definition, but maybe just if I can add something, just it's important for us to understand that that gender-based violence is actually an infringement on human rights. It's important that we understand that human rights are inalienable and we need to really enjoy them. They are not apportioned to a particular group or a particular sex, but they are God-given to all of us at a free cost to be fully enjoyed, to support our normal being, as in holistic being, as she already talked about the broader perspective of gender-based violence, that is economic, psychosocial, and all that. Still, in regard to that, actually gender-based violence has been classified as a public health crisis. So this is not a small topic. She talked about people who only look at the physical injuries, and because this is what we see. But how about the emotional injuries, the inside wounds that are not seen, which are actually more painful, that are not being attended to because we don't see those wounds? They are deep inside us. People are walking and you find somebody's speaking alone because they have so many unanswered questions. People walk and they are absent-minded because they are probably traumatized. Why? Because of the inside wounds. And once you have those inside wounds, that can determine to a sickness or a disease. So this is a public health concern.
Thank you.
So the people who have turned up today to come and be part of this discussion, please, as we discuss and bring ideas onto the table, let's get to know that gender-based violence is a public health concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Richard. And just before you go off, I would like you to continue and please tell us the root causes of gender-based violence.
Thank you, Bwana Moderator. I will straight away go to the points, bring out about 2 or 3 or 4 of the causes of gender-based violence. One of the notable causes of gender-based violence is actually the harmful cultural practices or beliefs, whereby in some cultures, for example, Karamoja, where I've now gotten an experience of 2 years, they actually believe that the girls or the girls are the source of what? They are source of income. So About 2 weeks back, I was handling an issue whereby a 16-year-old, the parents sat down and discussed with another family, received the bride price without her notice. Then they planned for her being carried at night forcefully and taken by a man who paid the cows. Luckily enough, she had been a survivor at some point in our care, and we had taken her through some of the, we had empowered her and she knew what to do. So she was able, by certain chance, she got some contact. She got a phone and she was able to reach out to us, and we coordinated with the entire, framework, and she was able, after 1 week, she was rescued. So looking at such cultural practices or beliefs whereby we look at our young children or girls as source of bride price is one of the causes. So it will make, for example, look at that family. They had to sit down, crack a deal at a will of this young girl. Then two, we'd also look at issues to do with can I say the natural calamities or crises or conflicts that normally just suddenly come on board. Because when they come, they cause a lot of tension, there are protection issues, the functionality of a family is affected, the protection mechanism is also weakened. So at the end of the day, you find that either both men or women mostly, who are actually fall under the vulnerable group, they fall victims because they become weak, they become vulnerable. The situation around them is forcing them to be vulnerable. So they will ideally be vulnerable to any situation. A point in case is normally in war-torn areas. You will find that the women are subjected to sexual violence during that time because they need to survive. The young girls too. If I may localize it to Uganda or maybe to Karamoja, what I've been able to see here is that during dry season, there is outward migration, unsafe migration. People move from Karamoja, they go to Teso. And when they go to Teso, they go to probably look for food. And when they are there, because they are out of their area of confinement where they can be able to protect themselves, they fall prey to whoever is there. So some of the points that I'll also bring on board is poverty. And when I talk about poverty here, actually poverty at a broader picture. Let's look at poverty of the mind, lack of material resources as well, and also maybe the social poverty. If you lack the social ability to be able to, to express yourself, you can easily be find yourself in gender-based violence kind of, bracket, or they can easily take advantage of you because you cannot come out to express yourself. Lack of awareness, partly part of that's part of it's part of what? Poverty of the mind. Some of us have lived not to understand and appreciate that women, if given an equal space, they can actually be of great value to us. But because we lack that information, we've not gone to school, we look at them as people of low subject. We consider them as not important. We actually believe that we can see them, but we cannot hear them because there is nothing good that can come out of them. Okay? Then inadequate political presentation. I'm actually happy that our president has come out strongly and has given equal presentation for women in parliament. But even though some women have gone there and have kept quiet, I may want to give an example. I recently concluded the NRM primaries. Some of us would wonder why, because there were a lot of concerns. People were talking. I subscribe to a lot of political forums in Toronto, but there was a lot of debate whether Sarah should be given another chance to go back to parliament. But you realize she was able to make it. She won with a bigger margin, and I want to think it's because of her being vocal in parliament, trying to present issues that press women, But most women, despite of being given the space, they still have fear. Okay? So just imagine in societies where women have not been given maybe a presentation, how worse it is happening. With those 2 points, I would actually now stop at that and give my colleague also an opportunity to come on board.
Thank you very much, Bwana Richard. Now, Madam Juliet, would you continue from that point and also right away suggest some of the solutions to tackle the problems?
Thank you very much. I am going to continue from that point, but then bring to our attention only that we are online. If it were physical, we would try to demonstrate some of these things. Causes of gender-based violence. For the period of time that I have been on the ground, we have managed to notify and let people know that we have tended to zero it down to 1 and then have it as a tree and then have the branches and the roots. Now, the roots down here, the cause is power struggle, power imbalance between the male and the female. And in the process, where we have it affect the minors and the juveniles, we tend to still think it's because in the cause of a defilement or a rape, still a male domain wants to show he is the man. Why? In order to silence the woman. So after having power imbalance, we get down to the roots. That is where we have poverty, we have harmful cultural practices, we have very many leading us to what is above. Now, putting that aside, gender-based violence is as serious as COVID. You know how COVID redefined and retuned this nation and any other nation? Is how gender-based violence is. And sometimes in our gatherings and meetings, we tend to think if the government would rise up in arms with the strict measures and directives, just as it did with COVID, then we would have zero tolerance for gender-based violence. If you look at it, we only need teamwork. We only need to understand the fact that it's a violation of rights If we would appreciate that we are all humans and we deserve to live a dignified life and to enjoy that entitlement that rightly started with God, a right to life, and then other things came in there. Because it is only with this life that you can be able to realize education, realize good health, realize safe environment, realize food, realize your potential and capability, realize your space. Now, someone may wonder or tend to ask, why women, why women? They seem to be the weaker sex. They seem to be given another definition of a human being. They seem to be less valued. And that is why in the quest to get on and take up their space, sometimes they tend to take it with all the might because they want the other sex to know they are also human beings. You know, I normally tend to put it in a poetic manner. There is a loud noise in the jungle.
Sorry for interrupting. I would request Bwana Richard to first mute. We are getting feedback.
Okay, thank you very much. Hope he has done it. Thank you very much.
Okay,
For me,
you may go on, please.
looking at how we can be able to reach, even though 80% or 90%, which is very possible, we can have, like I literally tell people, they ask me, why do you have the male within your networks? We've gotten to realize that we cannot fight this war and end it and finish and succeed alone. To fight this vice, we need to incorporate the male who are role models in the communities, the males who are opinion leaders, the males who are rightly cultural leaders who respect and give credit to a woman. So when we incorporate these people in the system, it will be a go for us because the other males will be able to rightly speak to the fellow males to understand the reason as to why this is a violation of a right. We also look at mainstreaming these gender issues within the different budgets, whether at national or at lower local government levels, such that it is not a discussion at the grassroots, but it is a discussion that starts from the grassroots, finds a space at the local lower level, and then finds the space at the national. And you know how holistic it can be when everybody is consenting to ending. We also look at incorporating in the youths. You know, sometimes, like if I give an example of a situation that has been so rampant and painful in Tororo, though to some extent, some people thought and looked at it as a way of supporting the vulnerable. I give an example of Mapodho Kichiki. Mapodho Kichiki literally means a disaster because it does not alert you. Yes, we appreciated the fact that death does not alert you that I'm coming. But what are these things that happen during the course of the funeral that makes Mapodho Kichiki a violation of certain categories, right? Remember very well, within this process of Matanga dances, girls were being raped and defiled, others were being killed, other boys were being killed in trying to defend the girls. So that alone made it an issue of a violation because we're losing lives. So we look at incorporating the youths into the system, both boys and girls. And how can we do it? By encouraging them to form up groups. Within these groups, they can be able to have peer-to-peer experience sharing. They can have a football team. While they are having their games, they are sharing. It's capturing their mind to be settled onto one thing. And by the time they think of the other, it may be too late for them to go otherwise. So we are looking at having stakeholders come on board for community dialogues, community engagements. We need high-level stakeholder engagements, maybe after carrying out assessments and findings within the communities at the grassroots. You now interest the top stakeholders on what is at the ground, because they may not be able to reach every community and every person. We also look at making good use of the referral pathway. Referral pathway just entails the already existing structures within the communities to strengthen the reporting system. For example, we have the LOCs with their executives at the community levels. We have the LC2s, we have the LC3s, we have the police at the sub-counties. When we strengthen these structures in relation to reporting, it may enable us achieve justice in a shorter period of time. We also look at coming up with networks. For example, I am in Tororo. I'm right now in touch with our brother from Karamoja. And networking is in this way, because when I visited Karamoja, I'm really happy to have you, though you seem to be concentrated on children. But when I visited Karamoja, I visited Amudat, I visited Nakapiripirit, I visited Napak, I visited Moroto. I literally didn't reach so much in Nabilatu, but I concentrated in Amudat and Moroto. In Amudat, I visited the mining sites of that is Locales. And I happened to interact with women in the mining sites. For you to be able to sieve the sand or the stones to be able to get mercury or gold, it is an exchange for sex. The bosses use you for sex, for you to be given that opportunity to work at the mining site deep in the forests. Another thing I got to know, that the majority of the employers there are not the Keremojongs, are not the Pokots, are not people from there. I met Baganda, I met Bachiga, I met Banyankole, are the ones using these women to that extent. And when I came to Moroto, I visited Kosiroi. That is that mining site where Tororo Cement gets the marble stones. I found children, mothers carrying their children on their backs. Fathers were killed by the Turkana warriors who come from the Turkana side of Kenya to attack them at their mining sites. So this calls for a networking and collaboration. Of late, because of networking, I was able to rescue an employer in one of the construction sites in Moroto, who was literally tied with the chain on the waist and hanged head down, and he was being flogged simply because he put on a safety shoe of a Chinese. And yet he was going into the factory. He needed a safety shoe. But because he saw one picked and put on, how hardly did he know it was for his boss. And for him to survive death, somebody within had to sneak information that passed the whole way from Moroto to us in Tororo. And it's me who connected with the HRDs in Moroto to save that gentleman. So that is the strength of networking and collaborating. So briefly, I'll not exhaust all. We have other people to contribute, just like my colleague can contribute. Those are some of the ways that we can try to harass or try to minimize the vice of gender-based violence in our communities.
Thank you very much, Madam Juliet, for those wonderful insights. So, Bwana Richard, could you pick from that point?
Yes, thank you, Bwana Moderator. I want to re-echo something here, though I'm actually sorry to take us back. But in my own opinion, gender-based violence is an act by humans or by man to compromise with God's arrangement for their own selfish gain. Because ideally God created us equal. But because of our own selfish egos, we tend to look down on others to pursue our own interests. Now, as I get back to top up on what my sisters brought forth, I'll just highlight a few things and maybe re-echo some of the already raised points by her. And one of them is, to me, I would call for affirmative action at all levels. That is at community level, at national level. Let's come up with affirmative action. Let's speak against gender-based violence. At community level, can we have religious leaders chip in a message of gender-based violence during their social gathering or Sunday services? Can we have community action groups in the agenda have a component or one of the agendas in their discussion be gender-based violence? How do we lobby at district level so that the annual budget, a proportion is given to address this global threat? Then at district level, how do we push forth at country level? How do we push forth at a national level? Now the ministry responsible for this, which is the Ministry of Gender, a proportion and an increment is made as they budget every year. Because ideally, gender-based violence almost is not catered for. As we see budgets, being read every year. So can we push for that? And we can only achieve that through affirmative action. A joint force at all levels. With that in place, we can now bring men and boys on board. And we're not bringing them as enemies or bringing them to actually blame them. But how do we make them friends? How do we talk to them? How do we interest them? How do we win them to actually embrace the equal statusship in coexistence? Can we ensure women presentation at all levels in our arrangements as we come up with programs? Can we have women presentation? And as we have women presentations, can we hear them? We should not just see them, but can we hear them? Can we hear them speak? Can they bring out real issues that affect them? Then the other issue is, how about keeping our girls in school? Gender-based violence is actually rampant in Karamoja because the girl children are denied education. They are simply raised up to a certain age as they, at age 9, they're already negotiating without even her notice. They are not taken to school. They are raised up for cows, in exchange for cows. So can we keep them in school? And when we keep them in school, actually, they get empowered. They will get to know their rights. They will be able to defend themselves. Okay? Can we focus on changing or driving change in our communities? That is a comprehensive kind of change, not only looking at one aspect of change, economic. No. Can we go beyond economic and even look at mindset change? Can we look at those programs that holistically transform our communities so that we can have better communities where both voices are actually given equal treat? Then we can also think of alternative practices as opposed to harmful cultural practices. We also need to pay attention to the high-risk population or the high-risk groups, because at times they reach out to us, but we ignore them. We don't listen to them. Okay? We also need to understand the actual causes and come up with clear intervention measures to address some of the causes. Then let's sensitize communities, let's sensitize the population about gender-based violence. As I conclude, I want to use an example of a structure. Ideally, our local manyatas that we construct. The traditional manyatas of about 30 years back, they used to have a pole in the middle that would hold two poles up to start or to make a pillar. But as technology kept on improving, we no longer have those traditional manyatas with a pole in the middle. We now have manyatas that have two fast pillars that stand. And those two pillars, they actually support one another. Without the other, that pillar becomes weak. I am trying to push a message of mindset change here. The two pillars to me, I would regard this as a man and a woman. When the two come together, they actually make a stronger pillar. And in the absence of the other, that pillar becomes weak. So can we look at each other from that angle? Can we stop looking at women as weaker sex? Can we value them? That without them, we can't be a stronger pillar. Then the other message that I will bring forth is they're actually saying that a man is actually the head of the family. Then practically when we come to the human body, what carries the head? If you are the head, then what carries the head?
The neck?
So what carries the head is the neck. Not so?
Yeah.
So can the neck start fighting with the head?
A disaster.
It can't happen. Then can the head start discrediting the neck that because you lower me, because you are down? So the two have to coexist in peace. They have to coexist in harmony. They have to value each other. So can we start looking at each other from that angle? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bwana Richard. Now, Madam Juliet, I think we have talked of involving the men and the boys as one of the strategies for fighting the gender-based violence. Would you briefly tell us what could be the exact roles these men or boys play in the prevention of GBV?
Okay, the role the men or the boys will play, you know, when men are taken through to understand the value of the woman, they are able to appreciate that they cannot do without a woman. I want us to get down to realities. If a man could be able to make it, then there would have not been any need for God to create a woman. But because a man cannot achieve it alone, God created a woman. Can we appreciate the fact that God saw a reason to creating a woman and give the woman opportunity to do that which God created her to do? The Bible tells me God created a woman to be a helper, just like my colleague has talked of the neck and the head. Indeed, the head cannot exist without the neck. And the neck, without the neck, there is no life. There is nothing, because the head cannot attach direct to the shoulders. So the men's role will be to let other men appreciate the value, the potential, the capability, the contribution of women to the development of any society. The secret in a woman that is not in a man. Let me tell you people, the creature called a woman, a woman, looks at fellow women and wonder how God created a woman. Give a woman a home, the whole day from morning to evening. She's working and she sleeps the last. Let that woman just be withdrawn for seconds and give the man the home. My brother, it will be in shambles. because he does not know how to coordinate the different activities. A woman has a child on the back, a woman is bending, peeling, a woman's hand is pulling a saucepan, this other hand is lighting fire. You know, a man, the moment a baby cries, he's finished. He will begin calling for the woman. So can we realize that those small things make a bundle, and without them, you cannot continue to be. So if we can think deep, as a man, what really did you want a woman for? Was it for sexual pleasure? No. Was it for the character in her? Was it for how much you saw her contribute? Why do you want her? I believe you will want her for the continuity and sustainability of your home, for the development of your home, for the contribution of ideas and decision making in your home. Because literally you cannot sit and think for yourself and talk for yourself. So those are some of the things that if we could interest ourselves with and open the eyes of the men, we could be able to achieve. And that is the role of the boys and the men within the networks. And we call them the male champions. We use them to woo other men to the system. You know, when you cannot beat the system, you join the system. And it is in the system that you will appreciate that indeed you have taken and wasted a lot of time. You would have joined the system long time and you would be very far. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those wonderful insights. Coming back to you, Bwana Richard, how can we measure success in engaging men in gender-based violence prevention?
Thank you, Bwana Moderator. How do we measure success? We don't even need to measure success. We need to see. We need to see more peaceful communities. We need to see more peaceful families. The moment we start realizing peaceful families, we would have achieved a lot in this battle. When we see a peaceful community, that would be a direct indicator that we've tackled this big challenge or this big vice. When we see more happy children in our communities, we will know that our families are at peace.
Thank you.
When we see more of our mothers being engaged, more of our our women being given the opportunity to speak, okay? They are also being given an opportunity to actually have their views presented, and they are heard and is acted upon. When we see that women are more included in most of the developmental projects, they are included in almost all sectors of the government arrangements, our own community arrangements. When we see more of women preachers, because I believe there are churches that do not believe in women preachers. Okay? When we register low cases of defilement, that would mean that boys have now started realizing that it's actually good for us to keep our sisters in school. Low cases of rape. A man, how do you dare wake up and you start raping a woman? Even a hen, a cock cannot rape. it will first switch top. Even the e-goat, it will first switch top. Why? How? As in, oh my God. Now, you've actually, I do want to bring this, but allow me bring something. If a man was created as a strong sex, as we always claim, and so women were created as a weaker sex. So weak and strong, who is supposed to keep the other? It's automatically that the strong one has to keep the weak. So do we keep the weak by boxing them? Do we keep the weak by taking away their rights? Do we keep the weak by shutting them up? Ideally, this is what I believe.
Oh, thank you.
A stronger brain, which we want to presume is a brain of a man, must think way beyond a brain of a woman. That is what we presume. Then, at the point the brain of a man stops thinking at a man's level, it will lower down to the level of a woman. And once it lowers, the two will cause conflict. And we shall see sparkles. And these are the fights that we normally see. So men, can we learn to think up? Because when you lower your brain down, you're going to fight with your woman. To me, a man who fights with their wife, that means that actually you've defied that entitlement that God gave you, as you claim that you are superior creation of a woman. So you must keep your brain up. So let the woman's brain be down and you protect her brain, because maybe that is how God made her be. That is how unique she is. Women are very powerful. A nation like Uganda is because of a woman. The current president that we have was mothered by a woman, raised by a woman. Men, can we learn to understand that it is the women that actually take care of our children? They nurture them. We only play supervisory role and come in to support a few things, but they take up most of the job. One of the greatest presidents of the world, that is Barack Obama, was raised by a woman. As the father was away in Kenya, back in America, Obama was being raised by a single mother. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pana Richard. And just as we wind up this session and give opportunity to the audience also to give their contribution, I would like Madame Juliet to tell us some of the challenges organizations like her own face in supporting survivors of gender-based violence.
Oh my God, it's a lot. But Aluta continua, we keep pushing. The challenges that we are facing normally, which tend to cut across, are political interferences, backlashes. When I talk of a backlash, it's something that happens along your way. For example, Juliet, I could have hit a snag somewhere and something didn't go well with me, and now the perpetrator uses it against me. For example, someone can call you and say, you are claiming to be fighting for people's rights, yet you cannot defend the right of your own child who is in prison. So it hits you hard. Indeed, you're fighting for other people's rights, you're making them realize it, but way beyond you, you cannot do anything to save your own. So those are some of the challenges. We have challenges of language barrier. Yes, you may have an information to pass over to a certain community, but the best way you could present it is something that poses a barrier that the other side cannot be able to receive it very well. Another challenge that we have are cultural leaders, more so at the grassroots. You know, whenever we take workshops and trainings, we tend to concentrate on stakeholders at the top. We forget the stakeholders at the grassroots are the implementers. So when you reach there, you're taking a positive message, it is received negative. You're telling them a girl child has a right to own property and they are asking you since when. You're telling them a widow is the next of kin to the late husband, and they're asking you, how did she carry land from their home when she was coming to get married here? You are telling them the law says this. A cultural leader tells you, no. Our constitution as the Kuroko clan is the final, and it gives us authority to do whatever we do to anybody who is stubborn. And they even justify by telling you, even the magistrate's court okayed us and gave us mandate. So taking that person out of that mindset and perception takes time. And then we have hard to reach areas. You have the information, but the place is very far and unreachable. We have poor fundings. You know, finances limit us reaching the last frontiers. I call them the last frontiers because somebody may be coming from Buesa, that is in Umbwa zone, down there, bordering the Vanyoli and the Japadolas. Reaching there may be an issue for a CSO or a human rights defender. And then we also have the challenges of knowledge gap. And that is where we call on other CSOs for capacity building to our people to be able to understand the trends. We also have low self-esteem, more so with women. It takes us time to build their self-esteem. We have pull her down syndromes. Women, one thing I want to tell you, the men who are listening, that women who have gotten to know and are placed somewhere will never wish to see another woman go overboard. They always want to be at the top, and these ones should follow them. And then we have the financial muscle. Financial muscle is experienced right like now. We are in a political period or season. The women with finances are overriding. Their monies speak. So how will other women attain positions of authority? So those are some of the challenges that we are experiencing. And then we have also corruption, more so with the stakeholders. I think the economic sustainability is becoming too hard, that the standard of living is high, and yet the salary scales do not meet the expectations. So people tend to think otherwise, how to survive quickly. And then one thing we have, for example, we have poor case management. Along the way, if there is any breakage in a case, more so of GBV, you may not be able to achieve justice in court. We also have threatenings on witnesses. they fear to come and testify. We also have threats on ourselves. For example, me as a HRD, we also have we have what is it? Threats, arrests. They arrest us, you know, because of speaking out for the voiceless. You'll find yourself behind coolers. That is a way of trying to dethrone you, to intimidate you, and to make you more so as the women, to make you know that you are a woman and you're not supposed to speak. Stay at your lane. So those are the challenges that we are having. We also have challenges with poor implementation of the legal frameworks. Otherwise, if some of these laws were respected to dot, perpetrators would have reduced. But again, we have loopholes where you take in and there is somebody bringing out because money has exchanged hands. So those are some of the whatevers we are having. School dropouts, child marriages, child mothers, child-headed families. How do you really expect a child to produce a child and raise a good citizen? So poor parentage. Parents have become and left their children to whom it may concern. Besuliddewo bw'anaagamba, like Muganda says, to whom it may concern. Children take their direction, parents take their direction. Poor parentage has costed us a lot. Teenage pregnancies, child marriages, school dropouts, and all this child labor, child abuse, child trafficking. We have all those. Those are some of the challenges we are facing. Thank you very much. My colleagues can add on.
Yes, Pana Richard.
Thank you, moderator. But I wish to give most of my remaining time to the rest of the team members, if they can chip in and also, give their ideas.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to thank you, and together with Madam Juliet, for those wonderful insights. And at this juncture, allow me to open the floor to the audience. And I would request anyone from the audience with a contribution to raise their hand. Then you'll be given an opportunity. You can tell us your name, where you come from, and straight away give your contribution. By show of hands, please. Our audience, you're most welcome. And this is now the point where we give you opportunity to give your contribution also. Yes, Madam Maria, can you say hi to us, please?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad I've been traveling, but I've just reached home, I think 5 minutes ago. And they've been not following so well, but thank you for the presentation. Thank you, my friend Ombaga, Richard. I'm so glad that in this show that I wasn't able to follow you well. I'm just from Tororo. I've just reached right now, like 5 minutes ago. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Miriam.
Pleasure, Miriam.
Yes, our councillor, Fabian Omse. You are most welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I want to thank the members. It is quite unfortunate that I have joined late. I want to apologize. I have been having some commitment, but I'm following up following the discussion seriously. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Though the network was breaking. Yes, Bwana GM Okoth, could you please say hi to us and give us any contribution? Yes, Mr. Ejakite, Michael, it's long since I last heard from you.
Oh, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity. First and foremost, I would like to appreciate the moderators, the organizers, and today we had a team of panelists that are really knowledgeable about the subject matter, GBV related, and I have learned a lot from them. You know, learning doesn't stop. You learn and unlearn. And from their discussions, whatever we learned, it cuts across the communities, it cuts across the culture, religious issues, but also at family level. So mine is just to appreciate them and to appreciate one of the related issues is funding. It's true, the current funding trends are dwindling and the resources are really constrained. But that does not stop us from lobbying and working together with the government. Government always has budgets, and the budget has called upon us to continue collaborating with the government at different levels. Line department at the Community Development Office, the CFPU, and also the legal partners. So thank you. Later on, I think there's some information I will share with the Juliet and Richard through the emails. I think I contacted the coordinator to share their contacts. I'll contact them and we share and brainstorm some funding opportunity but needs a big consortium. So from their explanations, from their presentations, looks like they are good experts in that. Maybe they could also try out their.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Bwana Ejakite, and thank you for always bringing up opportunities. I can see a hand. Bwana Peter Adori, please, the floor is yours. Yes, Mukuru Peter, I can see your hand up. Could you give your contribution, please?
Hello, can you get me?
Yeah, I can get you.
Yeah, thank you very much, the moderator and the panelists. My name is Peter Adori. I come from Tororo and I work in a refugee settlement. I'm based in Kirandongo. And I'm very much impressed on this channel of discussions. I think this is the second time I'm getting in, and I'm happy also to join and have my contribution. GBV is a very dangerous issue in the society, and is one of the vices that are destroying family unities and causing a lot of disharmonies at home. I'm very happy with the approach actually used by the colleagues. And one of the things also I would say is that, you know, in most cases, for us to address this, we need to do a lot of male engagements and for us to succeed. Because if you look at a lot of the approaches in addressing this, is more looking at men as victims. So in one of the ways, I think we also need now to move towards reducing that mindset of looking at men actually as the perpetrators, as the perpetrators and stuff like that, and seeing how we can bring really men on board. Even in our workshop, even in what we encourage actually male participation, and we see how we can use them. And when we have this, I think we'll also be able to empower the men and we move together and address this. Because when you look at it in the trends of GBV these days, like for example, if you look at the cases of the owner of Kampala University, you see a lot of things. We are looking at probably only GBV in the aspect of physical violence or other things, but there's a lot of mental torture that people go through, and both women and men actually go through this. So it's a high time the resources are also directed to addressing the issues of violence from both sides, and this is how we can actually move towards total elimination of this, because women or our other genders should also begin looking at men as partners, and also begin at looking at any other violence like the verbal and the rest of it as really very critical in destroying homesteads. We know we've moved in a new era where there are a lot of issues like human rights, all those things. We cannot use that to abuse the unity and something tradition that we should be able to embrace. Traditionally, remember those days at homes, there are certain alternative dispute mechanisms that are being done. So these days, a key small issue that could be handled, at the home level is really taken at a higher level. So we really need to see, first of all, my own suggestion is that it's really very bad, the vice is bad, but you should see how we can encourage more male engagements. And one of the challenges, of course, that we're also seeing here, especially among the refugees that we're handling, there are also fears of reporting, fear of reporting. Like I like the moderator when he said, of course, those are some of the things that probably limit our interventions. Otherwise, I'm very happy with the programs, and I think subsequently I will be able to know the timelines and also be able to participate. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Bwana Peter, for those wonderful insights and observation. And may I give opportunity to Mr. Emeje Andrew? I can see a message, but please, could you say hi to us?
Okay, thank you, moderator. I don't know if I'm really heard well.
Yeah, you are loud and clear.
My network seems to... Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Moderator and the two guests. Mine is just a point of appreciation because I've been following you, though I've been in a noisy place because there has been quite a tight day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I would like to give opportunities to ladies also. Which lady do we have online? Yes, Madam Amasejak Judith. Could you please greet us? Madam Judith, are you with us? Madam Judith, could you please say something as we strive to achieve gender balance? Yes, my brother Sebastian. Do you have anything?
Yes, Mwana moderator, I salute each and everyone in the group. Those who have managed to give in their time. I'm also so happy that it is my first time to attend such. And I believe if such programs continue, it gives us insight to we who are, I may say, those who are engaged, those who are in hello? Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Yes, I'm getting you. Yeah, I'm saying it's a great opportunity for such a wonderful forum, because it gives us insight to we who are in this channel. Gender-based violence is really in great increase. And if such education is put across the members, probably it may minimize, because we cannot say through the only this education can help reduce totally, but it needs a lot of engagement. As we are doing it here, it should go deep to the community members, and possibly the organizations who are handling it. I believe they may organize basing on the financial challenges. They try their best to reach the communities, because it's not only we who are now here listening, but it majorly affects most of the community members, not only in towns, but also deep in the villages. I am so grateful. I'm happy. I at least have gotten a few points to note, and I'll also try to do my best, because I'm also part of those that it can affect. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, and you're most welcome. Now, as we go towards the conclusion, maybe before we go to the conclusion, Bwana Richard, maybe briefly, if you could tell us some of the laws that are in place to address this vice of gender-based violence. Probably if there are some survivors somewhere or people undergoing and not aware of what are the laws in place, it could guide them.
Thank you, Bwana Moderator, for the very last opportunity. Before I tackle what you asked me to share, allow me inform the platform that actually this is my very first time at surface for this kind of arrangement, and I'm very, very obliged for the opportunity given. Probably my concern would be that this was too soon on my side, because I was approached almost when I'd already scheduled myself for my day. So the preparation was kind of just a crash arrangement, but next time better.
All right.
Actually all the laws, the mother constitution of Uganda, the constitution of the Republic of Uganda, it has a section that caters for what we are discussing. The Children's Act has a section. We have the National Obesity Policy, the most recently amended National Child Policy, because ideally issues pertaining gender-based violence are within the family docket. And so all these laws look at, and you know, the families where, you know, it's an entity for childbearing, but also the first block or the first brick that builds a country like Uganda. So there are a number of laws and a number of legislations that have been passed that cater or address gender-based violence. They may not be directly hinting at gender-based violence, but the clauses within in there, they tend to address issues that can tantamount to gender-based violence. Thank you. For the interest of time, thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Richard. Yes, Mr. Etiang Simon, I would have loved to hear something from you before I give our guests opportunity to say their parting shots. Oh, I think we have lost him.
Oh, good evening, listeners.
Okay, good evening.
I think my network has a problem, serious problem.
Okay, you are now loud and clear.
Sorry, I joined a little late because I've just settled down. And I appreciate everyone who has participated in this engagement. More so our panelists, my sister Julie, and my brother Richard. I am a witness to their work and I trust their deliberations. I would also appreciate all the participants who have been here and pray for the best. I think in short, gender-based violence is a vice that still needs our efforts. And you know, in the recent past, we look at it at the power dominance angle. That usually the people who have power dominance are the ones who are perpetrating what? The gender-based violence. So that is how, in the recent past, government is looking at it to see how to harmonize these matters. The parent law on the domestic violence is we have the Domestic Violence Act, which is the Bible on domestic violence issues. So anyone who's interested can get to the bookshop. It enlightens much of what we have talked about. And also, I would encourage our communities that would get to this level at the extreme of these things. We have professionals at sub-county, district, we have CSOs who have been helping us in settling these matters before we would think of getting it into the level of courts of law. Because in most cases, the outcomes of courts usually leaves communities disintegrated. So thank you for listening and have a good night.
Thank you very much, Brother Simon. Yes, I can see a hand. That's Sebastian.
Yes, please. Thank you. So once again, I would just like to echo to Madam Juliet and Mr. Richard that gender-based violence is actually affecting everyone. You may find children who are raised in families where a woman or a man is being abused and is also victims of violence. Sometimes it may not be physically, but always psychological. Now, the children witnesses violence from the parents and may just take it as a form of impression that such behaviors is just justifiable and normal. That means it may make them feel that gender-based violence is something that is normal. However, they always negatively affect their self-esteem and development, and also their ability to function in the society. So I would request, since they are actually the guest speakers for the day, and also they work with the organizations in relation to that, probably they may organize not only in their areas of probably where they are working, but they should extend it also to the communities in the villages, and also help family members, friends, and also colleagues. Thank you so much.
Indeed, most perpetrators of violence have been victims themselves before, and probably some of them grew up thinking it's normal, it's the way to go, it's the way to resolve conflicts, which is not right. So there is a lot of unlearning and learning to be done in order to appreciate that violence cannot be tolerated in any civilized society. At this moment, allow me to bring back Madame Juliet to give us our final submission as we go towards the end of today's program.
Thank you very much, moderator. Once again, I've been attentively listening to our esteemed participants. Thank you for being knowledgeable. Thank you for being ambassadors in your communities. Thank you for speaking out and making the noise, because we need peace. We really need peace to enjoy the little life that we have to live. I would like to interest us partners with something, with a wave that is sweeping Uganda. And to me, I appreciate, and I sat down and I said to myself, wow, Juliet, you have made it. What am I saying? Who sees what I'm seeing? Who is seeing how women have risen up to take up leadership spaces? Who is seeing how every political position there is a woman? There is no more saying, for them they are for the woman MP. They have gone to spaces to compete with men. And that is enough to show us that the male dominance, patriotic type of reasoning is going to slowly come down. So it's a goal for us. And then at that level, we can now reason together. So I appreciate the organizers of this space. I also appreciate the fact that they looked at us and considered us to be the speakers of the day. And I promise you one thing, that gender-based violence at the time that there was in Tororo, the level we had reached is coming down slowly. We are left with it only within the cultures that tend not to accept that we have to coexist. Otherwise, I remain Juliet Ayo. Yes, here to work and ready to receive and respond to any case, please let us work together. May God bless you so much. We love you. We pray for you. Be blessed.
Thank you very much, Madam Juliet, and thank you for always honoring our invitation, and we shall keep coming. Our second guest, is he still online? As if I'm not seeing him. Mr. Mbaga Richard, looks like we have lost him. And I would like to inform us that this program today has been sponsored by Rema Digital Services. They are located in Mile 5 Mbale Road in Tororo, and they majorly deal in printing, photography, and videography services. In case you need any of those services, you can contact them. They have always sponsored our programs, and we are still looking forward to more sponsors coming up so that we can make this program a success. I was looking for Joseph to say something before we go off, but I think we have lost him also. He had sent me a message in my inbox that he was traveling. Honorable GM, before we close the program, are you saying something? I think he's not on. For that matter, at this point, allow me to thank Madam Ayo Juliet and Mr. Mbaga Richard for enlightening us on gender-based violence. Key takeaways today: gender-based violence is a pervasive issue requiring urgent attention, and the root causes include patriarchal norms and power imbalance, as our guests talked about, and the men and the boys play crucial roles in the prevention. They need to be involved, and the call to action: we urge everyone to educate themselves on gender-based violence and also the community where they come from. Like the saying goes, sharing is caring. We need to continue sharing information with everyone around us so that we can collectively move together and avoid this vice. It is something that can be prevented. Sometimes it happens because of ignorance or because people have not been sensitized. They are limited on the ways of handling conflicts in families. And also there is need for support for the survivors and the organizations that help the survivors, just like the organization of Madame Juliet and the one Mr. Richard Mbaga is working with. We need to engage men and boys in the prevention efforts. I want to thank you, our audience, for participating tonight, and I would like a volunteer to tell us, to say a closing prayer before we depart. Any volunteer? Madam Media, will you volunteer again?
Okay, that's okay. Thank you for the opportunity again. Let's humble ourselves. God, we thank you for this. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to meet tonight. We thank you for all our presenters, for all that have given us the knowledge that have given us this night. May everything that we've discussed be impactful to our lives and to the community, and may we use this to change our community. I pray all this believing and trusting in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. And before we close, we have another program, that is the school outreach program, where we had suggestions from some members earlier when we were handling some topics, and we agreed on the need to physically meet and do some sensitization, maybe career guidance in schools, as one of the strategies to address some of these socio-economic problems we are facing. So we have another forum for the school outreach. In case you are interested in joining us, you could give us your contact, then we shall add you in that group where we discuss also other strategies of handling some of these vices in the community and creating awareness. I want to say thank you to each one who has been a part of this program tonight, and I wish everyone a good night for God and my country.
Amen.